ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पाद शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ॐ त्वमेव माता च पिता त्वमेव बन्धुश्च सखा त्वमेव विद्या द्रविणं त्वमेव सर्वं मम देव देव। ओम गुरुदेव भगवान शिव शंकर भोलेनाथ कैलाशपति महाराज की जय, भगवान व्यास जी महाराज की जय, शंकराचार्य भगवान की जय, स्वामी चिन्मयानंद भगवान की जय, स्वामी दयानंद भगवान की जय, स्वामी प्रबुधानंद भगवान की जय, माता पिता की जय, सभी गुरु देवताओं की जय, सभी गुरु देवताओं की जय। श्री कृष्ण गोविंद हरे मुरारी, हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेवा। श्री कृष्ण गोविंद हरे मुरारी, हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेवा। श्री कृष्ण गोविंद हरे मुरारी, हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेवा। श्रीमद् भगवद गीता chapter 6 and verse number 36 we have to see. Yesterday we had seen verse number 35. Where Bhagavan said, no doubt Arjuna, the mighty armed, the mind is agitated and difficult to master. But hey Kanthay, it is mastered by practice and objectivity. And in its continuation, Bhagavan says, असंयत आत्मना योगः दुष्प्रापः इति मे मतिः। वश्य आत्मना तु यतता शक्यः अवाप्तुम् उपायतः। Further Bhagavan says, asmayata atmana, by the one for whom the mind is not mastered. Yogaha dushprapah, difficult to gain. Dushprapteha. Iti, thus, me, my, matihi. Matihi means vision. Tu, whereas, Vasya Atma, by the one whose mind is mastered. Vasya Atma. Yatata, by the one who makes effort. upayatah, with proper means. This is practice and objectivity. Up, av, avyap, avapatum sakhya, it is gained. Yoga is difficult to gain for the one who has not mastered his mind. This is Bhagwan's vision. This is my vision. Whereas it can be gained by those who have mind is mastered, whose mind is mastered, who makes effort with proper means. This is practice and objectivity. The one who practices and objectify can master his mind. One who does not practice meditation, abhyasa, and who does not objectify vairagya is called asamyat atma. Asamyata atma. The one who does not practice meditation is called asamyat atma. In this verse, meaning that mind is not brought under control. Can the mind be brought under control? Yes, Krishna says, but with difficulty. It is dushprapaha, very difficult to attain. Furthermore, unless the mind is mastered, it is not possible to gain the yoga being discussed here. The capacity to see the sameness that exists in all being and in which all being exists. What Krishna says here is this vision, mati, which is not the same as an opinion, since it is not something that can be contended and dismissed. By the practice of abhyasa and vairagya, the mind is brought into one's own hand, which is why the person who can do this is called Vasya Atma. Here, such a person, Vasya Atma, such a person is always alert. Alertness is something that should always be with you, not something practiced for a period of time. For example, you cannot say that you practiced alertness for 6 years and it was very good. Just as you cannot say you practiced breathing for 6 years, it is not as though you give up breathing after having practiced it for some time. It is your very life. Meditation is nothing not to be practiced for some period. Meditation is the one who understands, the one who knows, the one who has control over his mind, his thoughts, can be said as meditating. It is not as though you give up breathing after having practiced for some time. It is your life. Alertness is the same. By such a person who continues to maintain this alertness, yatata, by the one who has a mastery over his mind, vasya atma, it is possible to gain vision of sameness. Yoga avaptum sakhya. It is possible to gain the vision of sameness. Yoga avaptam sakhya. Krishna mentions in this verse that this yoga is gained by particular means. Upyatah, upayatah. What is meant by upaya? Abhyas and vairagya are the means for gaining this vision, as Krishna has already told Arjuna. Because abhyasa and vairagya are the means, Arjuna's gaining Arjuna's gaining the yoga was no longer in Krishna's hand, because he has already covered the subject matter. Now it is something that has to be done, and it is up to Arjuna to do it. He has to pay attention to his mind. See, it is you who have to practice. Krishna had said everything he could say. There was nothing more to be taught, only something to be done. Vairagya and Abhyasa would take care of any problem, any obstruction to gaining the knowledge. This is why Krishna does not say very much about the doing of it. When there is something to be discussed, like the Vastu, Brahm, Atma, then one can talk indefinitely, which is what Krishna does, and which is why there are 18 chapters of the Gita. But here there is something to be done now by Arjuna. Therefore, Krishna leaves it at that point. You will find that Krishna talks a lot about Atma, about the wise person, about the vision. But when it comes to meditation, which is to be done, there are only few verses, because it is something to be done. Wherever there is something to be done, Krishna states it briefly and adequately, then continues on. Whereas wherever something is to be unfolded, he goes on and on, because it is something that is to be understood, not something that has to be done. Meditation is to be done, and is to be done by you. So therefore there is nothing much to be explained. In verse number 37 to 39, Arjuna presents another problem that is purely imagined. Now Arjuna started thinking. The thinking person always questions. See, there is a big difference between argument and questioning. When someone starts thinking, he questions. And a teacher has the answer to it. Teacher can always answer the question. He can clarify your doubt. But a teacher cannot argue. There is no answer to arguments. So here Arjuna presents another problem, which is again an imaginary problem, because a thinking person starts imagining various things. So Arjuna Uvacha, Ayati Shraddhayopateu Yoga Chalit Manasah Aprapya Yoga Sansiddhi Kam Gati Krishna Gacchati. Arjuna Uvacha said, Krishna, O Krishna, hey Krishna, Shraddhaya, with the faith in the Shastra, Upatteha, endowed, Ayatihi, one of inadequate effort, Yogat, from yoga, Kalita Mansaha, one whose mind wanders away, Yoga Samsiddham, success in yoga, Aprapya, not gaining, Kam Gatim Gacchati, to which end does he or she go? Arjuna says, the one who is endowed with the faith in Shastra, but whose effort is inadequate, and whose mind wanders away from yoga, having not gained success in yoga, hey Krishna, to which end does he or she go? Now just look at Arjuna's question. Suppose there is a man who has renounced all karmas, meaning Vedic karmas and Laukika karmas, all the spiritual, social, and family duties, and he is allowed to give up if it takes to life of renunciation, sannyasa. Why does anyone give up all this? Why does anyone give up all this? In the hope of what? In the hope of gaining this yoga, the vision of Atma in all being, and all being in Atma, Samadarshana. He gives up all type of karma. This particular vision was the end in view when the person Arjuna was talking about becoming a sannyasi. As a sannyasi, the person denies himself the various pleasures that can be picked up by living in the society and becomes a bhikshu, a person who lives in alms. He has no money and does not know from where his next meal will come. That is, he lives on whatever comes in his way. But although he does not have the pleasures that a life of samsara would have given him, renunciation is a good investment because he is going to get a great vision, liberation, moksha. It was for the sake of moksha alone that he gave up the other three human pursuits, dharma, artha, and kama. This person has a great shraddha in the vision of Shastra and the possibility of his gaining the knowledge of Brahman, Atma. He definitely there. He knows that this knowledge is the moksha that he seeks. In the hope of gaining this knowledge, he has taken the life of sannyasa. And continues to be sannyasi. In time, however, having not gained the knowledge, he becomes frustrated. He may have started his pursuit when he was very young and now he is old. Something has prevented him from gaining the knowledge. The teaching may have not been proper, or perhaps he did not have enough inspiration, or the problem may be been from the past, some backlog, some obstacle from the past. Having reached this point, although he still has the shraddha, he is now an ayati, meaning that he does not have adequate effort. Yati means a person of effort, one who has the capacity to make right effort, which is why a sannyasi is called a yati. The person has a direction and is committed to the life of renunciation in pursuit of self-knowledge. But the sannyasi Arjuna was talking about cannot be called a yati. He has become an ayati, because adequate effort is not there and he does not know what it is, and is incapable of that effort. That the effort is not adequate is very clear. Why? Because the problems continue. Things are not very clear to the person, and therefore he is ayati. He may have studied and done a lot of meditation, but all that he has accomplished is to become more aged, tired, and frustrated. Chalita Manasa. Arjuna wanted to know what would become of this tired, frustrated sannyasi. He has shraddha and therefore he wants this knowledge, but things are not very clear to him. Now Arjuna's doubt is, what would be his lot if he dies away before gaining knowledge? Therefore Arjuna asks, what does he gain? Krishna. Kamagati Krishna gacchati. He knows very well what he has his lot in this life is. He has neither the joys of samsara nor the joys of moksha. The small pleasure of sansara are denied to him, and also the pleasures of heaven, since he gave up the karmas, and that would earn him such pleasures in the hope of gaining jnana, and he does not get jnana either. What then? Is he just left hanging somewhere in between now? What will he do? A person who performs no karma obviously cannot gain the result of karma. Therefore, there is no karma phala for him. Instead of performing karma, he spent his time sitting with his eyes closed, but nothing happened inside except sleep, perhaps, and nothing can be accomplished by sleep. Dreaming or daydreaming at least gives a person some kick, but what does sleep give? Nothing. Therefore, Ayati has not picked up any of the simple joys of sansara, nor has he picked up any punyas for the next life. Much less has he gained the knowledge that is liberation. Does the person whose mind wanders away from yoga just fizzle out? Will he become like a cloudlet that has become separated from the body? Body of clouds? Will he just disappear, fizzle out? Is this kingdom lost, and promised kingdom as well? For the sannyasi of inadequate effort who has died, moksha is gone and samsara is also gone, there being no accrued punya. With both of them gone, what will happen to him? Where will he go? Of course, this is an imagined situation on Arjuna's part. What he was not himself a sannyasi, but perhaps he planned to become a sannyasi. This did seem to be in his mind, as we saw earlier in the Gita. In any case, Arjuna wants to know exactly what would happen to the one who did not gain the vision. Although this was not Arjuna's immediate problem, his question was a relevant one in terms of understanding what the Shastra has to say about sannyasa and karma yoga. Arjuna knew Krishna to be the all knowledge Ishvara, and therefore qualified to remove this particular doubt. No one else was equal to Krishna. Only he could answer this question, which was not a simple one. Dealing as it did with what happens after one's life, as we know, it comes to an end. Arjuna says, please tell me, Krishna, where does such a person go? Has to gain success in yoga in the form of gain of knowledge. Aprapya yoga samsiddham kam gatim Krishna gacchate. When knowledge is gained, moksha is gained, which is why knowledge is also called a means of our moksha. Thus, between knowledge and moksha, there is a connection of means and end, sadhana, sadhya, sambandha. Arjuna wants to know what happens to the person who, having Shraddha in the vision, renounce everything and lives a life of yoga but does not gain the knowledge. What that is moksha. Having denied himself the pleasure of sansara, and also those of the other hand, the person has been performing this yoga meditation for long time, and now he is very old and is dying away. He has given up all hopes of gaining anything more in this life, let alone the knowledge that he pursued for so long. What will happen to him? Will he not be completely destroyed? Arjuna put this question to Krishna in next verse. Further, Arjuna says, कचित् न उभ्य विभ्रष्टः छिन्नाभ्रम् इव नश्यति अप्रतिष्ठ महाबाहो विमूढ़ ब्राह्मण पथे. Arjuna further says, Mahabhao, O mighty armed Krishna, Brahmana Pati, in the path of knowledge of Brahman, Vimudaha, the one who is deluded, Apratishtaha, one who is without any support, Yubaya Vibharshataha, one who has fallen from both, Chinna Abraham Eva, with a cloudlet thorn as under, Kaschit na nasyati, is he not destroyed? Deluded in the path, knowledge of Brahman. Deluded means left away, is one who has fallen from both, being without any support, not destroyed. Krishna, the Almighty, armed like a cloudlet torn as under. The person being discussed here is the same sannyasi described previously by Arjuna as Ayati, one whose effort has not been adequate to gain the knowledge that is moksha. Ubhaya Vibharshta refers to the one who has fallen away from both lifestyles. Karma yoga and sannyasa. This person has given up, fallen away from the way of the life called karma marga or karma yoga. Karma yoga is a life of activity in which one also pursues the knowledge. The purpose of this lifestyle is to make one ready eventually to pursue knowledge by taking to the life of sannyasa, because he has slipped away from karma marga. The person is called vibharshta with reference to karma marga. And the life of renunciation, yoga marga, brahmana pantha, for which he gave up karma yoga, has also proved to be abortive, fruitless. Therefore, in both he is the loser, but from both he has fallen away. He is ubhaya vibharshta. Having fallen away from both, where will he go now? He cannot go back to karma marga because he is perhaps too old to do anything. Besides, it is not proper to go from sannyasa to karma marga, nor does he have any enthusiasm to do so, because he knows the anityatva of it all. Any enthusiasm he may have had for the life of sansara as an aviveki, one without discrimination, is all gone, and he does not have the satisfaction of being a jnani, a wise man either. Therefore, he is ubhaya vibhrastha, hanging somewhere in the middle with no place to go. He cannot identify with the wise sannyasis nor with the ordinary people. Not only does he have no place, no group to identify with, he is also deluded, vimudaha. He either feels he has made a mistake, or he feels confused about whether he is a jiva, an individual, or a param brahma. Since his doubts remain, he has not accomplished anything by having taken to this path, this pursuit of the knowledge of Brahman. There is no path to Brahman now. Shankaracharya ji clarified the meaning of the word pati in the path in his commentary of this verse by adding the word marga, thereby indicating that the lifestyle of sannyasa is what is implied here. There is no way, no path to Brahman as such. You are the Brahman. And to gain this knowledge of Brahman, there is pursuit, the pursuit of knowledge. And in this pursuit, the sannyasi under discussion is deluded, vimuda. thus deluded in the path of Brahman, meaning that in gaining the knowledge of Brahman, in this pursuit of that knowledge, he is still confused and deluded. Does such a person not destroy himself? Nayati na kim, nasyati na kim. Asking this question, Arjuna compared the destruction to that of a cloudlet that has separated from a very large body of cloud. Chinna Abrahamiva Abaharam. Not wanting to wait for the big body of clouds, perhaps this cloudlet separates itself in its haste to reach the Himalayas, where it can sit on top of the mountain and not be disturbed. Instead, somewhere in the middle of India, tossed about by the howling winds, it just disappears, fizzles out. So to this person had dropped out of conventional society in his attempt to reach moksha quickly. He may even have gone to sit in rarefield air of the Himalayas, but instead of becoming a true sannyasi, he became a dropout, just like the cloudlet. Does he not destroy himself in the same way that the cloudlet does? Just as the cloudlet that remains with the large body of clouds can travel along with and enjoy with a view, so too you can be with a main body of the society and to have some of the joys that such a life has to offer. The cloudlet that is prepared to travel at the same slow speed as of the big body of clouds can look down at the mountains, up at the stars, and be protected by the winds of destruction. Otherwise it gets destroyed. Similarly, when you hurry ahead, you can become completely lost in the process because you have left the structure behind. Sannyasa means just that. No structure. You can become anything without a structure, without any particular mode of life, nothing to pressure you into doing anything. You can become lazy too. When you are hungry, you can go for bhiksha and then lie down back again without doing anything. A life of sannyasa gives you this kind of license. No one is going to question you. Society is not going to question you. And since there is no work for you to do, there is no employer or employee. There is also no father or mother to worry about you, which sometimes keep people on track. If the sannyasi once had a wife and children, he has also given them up. Therefore, none of the societal norms are there for the sannyasi, nor is there any religious norm, because the person who takes sannyasa is absolved from performing all the karmas enjoyed by the Veda. Therefore, there is no problem. You can be anything you want, even be a hippie. Thinking that such a person destroys himself, Arjuna asked Krishna to clear his doubt with reference to the fate of the Ubhaya Vibhrishta. Arjuna wants to clarify that what happens to the person, उसका क्या होता है जो ना सन्यासी बनता पाता है, जो ज्ञान प्राप्त नहीं कर पाता सन्यासी बन के, और जो कर्म मार्ग को भी छोड़ देता है, बीच में कर्म मार्ग छोड़ दिया और सन्यास मार्ग अपना लिया और ज्ञान प्राप्त हुआ नहीं, उसका क्या होता है? ऐसे अधर में अटके हुए मनुष्य का क्या होता है, भगवान बताइए। एतन्मे संशयं कृष्ण चेतम् अर्हय श्रेष्ठः त्वदन्य संशयास्यया। Let us repeat it. एतत् मे संशयं कृष्ण चेतुम् अर्हसि अशेषतः त्वदन्य संशयस्य अस्य चेता नहि उपपद्यते। Krishna, O Krishna, me of mine etat this samasyam doubt ishtata totally chittam to eliminate arahasi you should he for tat twadanyah other than you asya samasyaya of this doubt chetah the remover na upadyate is not there. O Krishna, you should eliminate this doubt of mine totally, for other than you there is no one who can be the remover of this doubt. Arjuna knows that there is no one else who can answer his question. Only the all knowledge Krishna as Ishvara could answer it, because only Ishvara knows what will happen to the sannyasi after he dies away from this life without gaining the knowledge of the self. Chetah means the one who cuts or removes. Here it refers to the one who removes the doubt. Krishna then was the hit man for the doubt. In fact, the only possible hitman. He alone was capable of eliminating Arjuna's doubt totally. Anyone else would have to say, this is what the Shastra says, whereas Krishna is the one who initiated the Shastra itself, as he said in the beginning of the 4th chapter, verse number 1. Imam vivasvate yogam proktavanaham avyam vivasvanamanve praha manurkhevarkave bravit. I gave this eternal knowledge to Vivasvana, who gave it to Manu, who gave it to Ikshvaku. Therefore, Krishna is an Ishvara. Krishna is Ishvara. Knew what it was all about. He also told Arjuna earlier that he had number of births before, but only he, Krishna, knew his birth, these births, while Arjuna did not. भूनिमि व्यतीतानि जन्मानि तावचर्जुन तन्यायं वेद सर्वाणि न त्वं वेद प्रपन्यपा. From this, Arjuna concludes that Krishna knows what happens to the soul after death and therefore is the right person to talk about it. Arjuna is praising his Guru here, saying that there is no one equal to Krishna. No one could eliminate his doubt totally. In other words, no one else is qualified to answer his question. Had Arjuna not asked this question, the Gita would have ended 3 verses before. But because Arjuna asks the question, Krishna begins talking again. And Krishna explains to Arjuna. Krishna answers, anyone who performs good action never comes to bad end. What a simple answer Arjuna gives. Let's read the verse. Shri Bhagavan uvacha Parthana eva ihana amutra vinashah tasya vidyate nahi kalyana krat kaschit durgatim tata gacchati. Shri Bhagavan, Lord Krishna Vacha said, Partha, O son of Pritha. Pritha is name of Kunti. Tasya, for him or her, Vinashaha, destruction, Iha, here, Na iva vidyate, indeed is not, Na, nor Amruta, amutraha, in the hereafter. Tata, O my son Arjuna, he, because kashchita, anyone, kalyanakrit, one who performs good action, durgatam, a bad end, nagachati, never reaches. Shri Bhagavan says, indeed, Partha, Arjuna, there is no destruction for him or her, neither here nor in the hereafter, because anyone who performs good action never reaches bad end. There is no bad end for the person who does good action. Again, the person being discussed here in this verse is that sannyasi, that yogi who was referred to previously as Ubhaya Vibharstha, one who has fallen from both Karma Yoga and Yoga Marga, for the reasons we have already seen. In fact, the person is not Ubhaya Vibhrasta, because here Krishna says that there is no falling as such. For the sannyasi who has not completed the job properly, destruction is not there. Vinasha na vidyate. Here, either here in this world, iha, or in other world, amutraha. Amutra means the other worlds. Why? Because this person, although an ayati, has shraddha in Shastra. Having shraddha, there can be no loss for him in this life, and therefore the life of sannyasa is not bad investment. He knows what it is all about because he has shraddha. There is no question for his being frustrated or sad in this world. He will simply continue to pursue the knowledge presently, happily, until he gains it. And if Shraddha were not to be there, the person would naturally think that he made a mistake. Thinking so, he would always go back. In either case, there is then the problem of his being sad, or what he has undertaken would not be there for the person. Nor will there be a problem later, that is after death. Amutra, Krishna says, he will come back to the situation that is conducive to the continuation of his pursuit of the knowledge that will give him moksha. Thus Krishna assures Arjuna that destruction is definitely not there for him. Vinasha tasya na vidyate. This we will continue further tomorrow. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnad Purnamudashyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Tat Sat. Om Gurubhyo Namaha.